going to talk about my favourite topic. Can you guess? Flowers. Because it's springtime, I thought it would be a good time to talk about flowers. And there is a little trip that's being shown behind me. Paul, my husband, took me for a very, very long trip to see the wildflowers in Western Australia. And we travelled in our Land Cruiser for quite a few days to get there. So while we're talking about flowers, you can enjoy the pictures. Some of the pictures didn't come through, I'm sorry, but I hope you enjoy the ones that did. All right, I've got a few questions for you too today. Springtime. Springtime makes our climate warmer, doesn't it? If that's better, you can hear me now. And what comes out with spring? Flowers and, of course, new babies. You can see the lambs in the fields, and you can see little chickens being born. Everybody starts to come alive in spring, don't they, after a cold winter? Now, have you noticed the flowers growing around your neighbourhood? Or maybe in your garden? Who has flowers growing in their garden? You enjoy them? They're beautiful, aren't they? You saw Adrian's beautiful lily, and I brought some flowers here too to talk about in a couple of minutes. So who made the flowers? God did, didn't he? Through Jesus. Jesus is the creator of flowers. He created everything that we see that's natural in this world. It says in our Bible that all things were made by him, and they were talking about the Word. Jesus is the Word. He made things just by saying, "Let it be made." So why do you think Jesus made us flowers? Because they're beautiful? Because we enjoy them? And because he loves us? And because he loves us, he wants us to have lovely, lovely flowers to enjoy and beautiful things in our lives to make us happy. And we know that a lot of people enjoy flowers. They love gardening. They like buying different varieties of flowers and planting them. And flowers are used for decoration too, aren't they? If we want to make a wedding beautiful, we'd use flowers. Or if mum or dad have a birthday, we'd give them flowers. And also we can share with other people. If you visit somebody who's not feeling so well with a bunch of flowers, does it make them feel special? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Okay, but did you know that Jesus made flowers for food as well? Did you know that? Well, you know the apples you eat, the pears, mangoes, and things like that, they grew on trees, didn't they? And what came before the fruit? The little flowers, the apple blossoms and the citrus blossoms, mango blossoms, they all came before the flower. And of course, who else enjoys flowers? Not just enjoys flowers and fruit, not just humans, but the bees and the birds and even animals. We all enjoy the food that the flowers bring. And what does a question for the boys here? What kind of food do the bees have from flowers? That's right. And while they're putting the little pollen in their bags, have you seen the back legs with the bag of pollen? They take it to their hive and they make honey. And we take some of their honey away, don't we? because we enjoy honey on our breakfasts. Okay, so do you know what kind of flowers these are in particular? See, I brought these flowers for you to have a look at. They're a bit different, aren't they? What are they? Does anybody know? They're actually called wildflowers. And if you have a look at them and touch them, you can come up and touch them if you like, because they've got a special feel about them. Have a touch of them and tell me what you think they feel like. What do you think? Anybody want to comment? Feel these petals, especially on those Geraldton wax flowers. These are called pinwheels. Are they soft, their leaves? They're hard, aren't they? Did you know that these flowers that are wild, they grow in the bush, they grow amongst weeds and shrubs and trees, and they've got to push their way through to be seen. They've got to push their way through the weeds and the grasses so that they can have sunlight and they can have their share of the rain and water. And so God, because there are people generally don't plant wildflowers, they just grow on their own wherever they can find a place to grow. God has made them special because their tiny little leaves and their hard petals will keep them alive for a long time, even if it's a very dry year or the sun is too strong. They will last much longer. They are called hardy and tough, aren't they? Did you feel the toughness of them? Yes, yes. Of course, some wildflowers are very delicate, especially the wreath flowers. They have very delicate petals, and yet they grow in the harshest environment, right there on the roadside. Did you see maybe some of the photos that didn't come through, the wreath? Did you see a wreath flower up there? The round ones? No, maybe not. Okay. Sorry about that. Some of my photos didn't come through. All right. Well, you know, when I think of wildflowers, I think about how dependent wildflowers are on Jesus, on God, to provide for them. Because they know that He will send them rain. They know that He will always put the sun up in the sky because they need sun to grow. And you know, that tells us a lesson too, doesn't it? That Jesus will look after us because He knows what we need. So we never have to worry. And I'd like to say before we finish that Paul and I had a really wonderful trip going to see the fields of wildflowers. To go into the hills and the national parks was just a little bit of a taste of heaven. And we had such an adventurous time, taking photos and finding different kinds of flowers. Some were yellow, some were red, and some were bright purple. And there were fields of them, as you could see. That's the wreath flower. See, that's just beside the road. Just a dry bit of soil along the road. Rocky kind of soil, sandy. And yet they are thriving. And that's what God does to us. When we are with Him, He will make us grow and thrive wherever we are because He loves us. Thank you for listening. By the way, don't forget to go walking in the bush sometime. Be careful of snakes. And make sure Mum and Dad are with you. But the flowers are out now. Go and see what you can find.